Hello, we're going to finish off this series looking at the Dirk, but in fact not looking at the Dirk. What we're going to be looking at today, just to finish off, is the Sgian dubh, or kind of the little brother of the Dirk world. So it's a much smaller knife. It's the one that's still traditionally worn a lot with Highland dress, so if you've ever been around kilty weddings or any of that, this is normally worn in the sock, and it's just a wee little knife. Now, Sgian dubh kind of means dark knife, which kind of means hidden is the principle behind it. So it's a knife that you would have hidden on you as an extra little thing. There's documented evidence of them using it as a projectile weapon, throwing it. We're not really going to cover any of that because we don't really do thrown weapons, because we hire this hall and I feel we would damage them if we did a lot of thrown weapons work. So instead, we're going to look at it as it was intended, as like a little extra nasty surprise. Now, again, although it's worn traditionally in the sock these days, that is probably the least useful of the three places that it was actually worn, because actually my hand is not often near my ankle in a fight, unless something's gone horribly wrong. There's a potential that if I was going to do something like Bane, where I'm going to drop down onto one knee to stop a charge, I might potentially have the option to draw it there. But it's actually much more useful to have it on the upper body. So the two places it was commonly worn was either in a small, specially made pocket inside the shirt under the armpit, which obviously is a nice and easy place to draw it from, but again, not somewhere you would normally expect it. And the other place, which is where I have it today, would normally be in some kind of iron binding on the wrist of your sword hand. So let's have a look at why we might want to do that. Because there's very little point to me using this as an offhand weapon. Yeah? We'll turn around just so that the ridiculousness, I'm not going to do anything with this. I would be better if we got into this kind of range actually using my offhand to grapple than I would be trying to poke you with it. So it's going to remain hidden for most of the fight, and I'm going to fight normally as I would do. But there are some times it really comes into its own. And they're mostly going to be when my primary weapon gets tied up. So probably the best example of this would be if I came in for an attack, my opponent decided to crash the guards together and seize my guard here. I have the problem now that he's already grabbed my guard. I mean, I can try and grab his and this goes to a wrestling match, but actually the fact he has this causes me problems. From here, because I've got this on my sword arm, it's very easy for me to draw and stab him, which gives me my sword back. That'll work equally well if we look at something on the other side, so say an attack coming in this side. If I'm blocking here, and again you get that binding, yeah, again I've got a knife to draw and start stabbing and slashing here. So it's quite useful for those kind of situations. Again, any form of grappling or such like, if we brought the Dirks out with me today, but if we were in at that close one, having an extra little knife to draw at that point can be useful as well. If it's on the other side, which would be where I'm just going to stick it in my belt rather than under my armpit, because I don't have a special, need to get t-shirts made with special little pockets in, but but we don't yet. Now obviously here, it's going to be used in a completely different way, because if we're in some kind of bind here, my capacity to draw this in a useful way is quite limited. So instead, I'm going to use this normally once the blades are taken up, just to give me a nasty surprise. And I'm normally going to deliver it into that flank. So if I'm coming in to attack here, I'm binding this here, and all of the attention is with what's going here. And that's when it's going to get drawn and skewered in here. Again, it's probably not an instantly lethal, but a few stabs of that in the kidneys, it is going to drastically change your capacity to fight for the rest of it. And this brings it obviously on that underarm rather than the overarm. If I'm drawing it here, it comes out forearm. This brings it out underarm, which allows me to use it very much like we do with the Dirk occasionally. So if an attack was coming in this side, I could always draw and hook my opponent much more effectively with just even a little knife like that. Is causing you more annoyance than my hand would, and obviously now I have the point I like. So a useful little extra trick, and kind of fits very much with the broadsword work, but with the Dirk work as well. So I thought I would cover it because this is probably the closest bit I can think where I would actually get to add it in. So that finishes off our little introduction to the Dirk. Hopefully you found it useful. We're going to be doing some more of the Scottish stuff going forward. We'll no doubt pick up some broadsword work and some broadsword montage later on, probably into next year now, if I'm honest, given that this is already October. But hopefully you've enjoyed that, and we'll catch you for the next series, which of course will be starting next week. So until then, take care.